Good morning. We're back. Good morning, Bob. Good to see you. How's life? I'm guessing because of how quickly you got here, Bob, maybe you were already up. Did you stay up real late? Hey, good morning, Voltaire. Good to see you. Thanks for being the first over there on Twitch. Good day, good day. All right, we gotta do the old housekeeping. All right. Now we are officially ready to go. I think we're ready to go. Hey, good morning, Bolt. Good to see you. Good to see you. Good to see you. I set my live for 5:15, and 5:30 just to join your stream. Dude, that's insane. Thank you so much for doing that. I appreciate you being here. I realize how early that is for a lot of folks, so thanks for being here, man. All right, I made pretty good headway on this project yesterday. Okay, let's go open up a couple more tabs. I try, don't always make it though. Oh, and you don't need to always make it, dude. It's so early. No pressure at all. No expectation from my side. No expectation. Let's see. We need a terminal tab. Let's go into here. Make this a little bigger. That's probably good right there. No, that maybe went too big. That's good. Okay. Oh no, I'm late. You're not late at all, man. We just got started. Yeah, you're not late at all. But welcome. Hope you're doing well this morning, or this afternoon, or whatever time of day it is for you. All right. What should we do? How should we start this thing? Actually, I think I'm gonna start. Oh, I need to check Discord. Hold on one sec. Did Discord go live? Yes, it did. Okay, cool. All right. So, where we got to yesterday.
I'd like to say something.
All times of day, I exist outside of the mortal construct we call time.
I wish I existed outside of the mortal construct we call time. Is there somehow I could get like 36 to 48 hours in a day? But that would be cool. Good morning, Maddie. Good to see you. All right, you got to get the lead out here. Slow start this morning. Slow start this morning. Test, 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 test. There we go. 1, 1. There you go. I just checking my mic levels. Good morning, Almighty. Good to see you. Good to see you. All right, so I ended up making a bunch of changes to the project yesterday. Really, the only thing I changed was the route organization. So I just put a bunch of stuff into different routes. Like I put the refresh and the login underneath the auth path, and then I separated accounts and institutions into separate things. And so now generally the flow that we have, let's go ahead and run the app, .NET run. Okay. So generally here's how the flow will work, or here's how I envision the flow working. So obviously you have to log in to your account first, right? You got to be an authorized user. So you'd sign in. Oh. I forgot to update these. So you'd sign in here. Where is it? Close some of these tabs. So you say, okay, I'm a logged in user now. I've got my access token. And then you're going to go to some page somewhere in the application, which I haven't figured out. I haven't figured out all the details of that. You're going to generate a link token. You're going to go through a OAuth flow on the front end with your bank. On the conclusion of your bank, you'll get a public token, which is kind of what this is simulating. So we'll get this is a fake public token. But you get a public token copy. You'll take the public token and you'll use that to connect an institution. And so my backend will receive your public token and your Plaid institution ID, which in this case, this is going to fail because I've already connected this particular institution. So I'm going to block people from doing this. Institutions connect. Yeah, I changed it. So we go this. So this is going to fail right now because it says 401 conflict because I've already connected it. But in real life, it would connect. Or if this was my first time, then what they'll do is if you ever want to connect accounts to the institution, which will be a separate flow in the application, you'll make a request to another endpoint. If it'll, why won't it load this? What's happening? What's happening? Hey, good morning, Slim Shady. Good to see you. There's got to be a story behind that username, right? Someone doesn't just randomly pick Slim Shady. Why won't this open up? Wow, that's so weird. It's almost like it's corrupted or something. Yeah, delete. Let's see, rename, connect accounts. Oh, actually, let's say get available. Like this. So we'll have institutions. I can never. I misspelled this word like 10 times. Institutions, accounts, and we change this to available. So then you'll hit this endpoint. This endpoint will give you a list of accounts that you can connect to, right? And then the front end will have some sort of UI that displays these accounts and allows the user to pick which account they want to connect. And then the last thing you'll do is you'll make a request back to the backend to say, okay, this is the account I want to add for this particular institution, this particular account ID, this particular account name is how we're going to do it. So that's the plan. So where am I at? So basically now I'm at the point where I want to be able to track the balances. So I haven't set up any way that people can track the balances of their accounts. So that's what I think I'm going to work on this morning. Is we need, whenever we're doing, let's see, whenever we're in this particular endpoint where we're doing the add, we need to have a step here where we also get the account balance, right? So to do, we need to get the initial balance of the account. So how do we do that? I guess we'll have to get it from Plaid. So for here, we'll say Plaid. Actually, hold on. Let's start with before we do that, let's start with updating the test for this endpoint. So let's go to that's just a to-do. So let's go down here to tests. Let's go here. Integration, accounts. Hello, Artwork Studios. Good to see you, sir. All right. Also, I added this Fluent request builder yesterday. I love it. I love this thing. This was a nice, I mean, I don't want to pat myself on the back too much, but this made it really nice to write integration tests yesterday. So let's go to add tests. And so we're going to make an update here to the success case. So I think that's down here somewhere. Yeah, this one right here. So this is when called with new account, it should return 200. But the other thing it should do is it should add the balance, right? So down here where I'm saying updated user.account should contain a singular entity, I also want to assert that the account has a balance. So I think it would look something like .then include u.balances, like that. And there should be one of these. We should be able to do like something like updated user.balances .should .have count 1. Something to that extent. So we need to go and create this balance model. So let's go to where the core project, yeah, put a model in here. So I guess we'll stick this in the account namespace and we'll say balance.cs like this. Good morning, AG Daniel. How are you? Good to see you, sir. Trying to get our Saturday morning over here started with some coding. with some caveman coding, with some trad coder life, you know? Trad coder is, I guess, what they refer to those of us who have decided AI is not for them. I'm gonna eat my orange real quick. It's raining here. A rainy, cozy Saturday morning. Although, you know what? I think Stream Elements is down. Have you guys ever heard of Stream Elements? I'm pretty sure their website's down. I tried to log in there this morning, and I'm pretty sure it's down. Oh no. Oh no. Someone's having themselves a bad day. You lurk away, Omanian. You do your lurking. I'm gonna sit here and eat my orange real quick. Drink my coffee. Warm up a little bit. All right. Public sealed class called balance. And it is going to be an entity. Now, a balance is going to have a public GUID, and it is the account ID to which it belongs. It is also going to have a public decimal, which is going to be, I guess, its current. And probably a public decimal, which is going to be its available. Although I don't really think I care very much about available balances myself. I just want to know what the current is. But we're going to do that. So I think account ID, current, available. And I don't really think there's much else we need on this object. Because basically this has timestamps on it, this has amounts on it. That will be plenty for us to be able to chart how an account balance fluctuates over time and then roll that up into some sort of net worth calculation eventually. So what we need to do is we need to go now to accounts. And we need to say, okay, you're an account, great. And now you have a private read-only list of balance that is a backing field, like this. And then we're going to expose that public I enumerable of balance, balances. And that's just going to always return whatever that backing field is. and then we're going to have a method down below called public void add balance that takes in a balance object called balance. It will throw if this thing is null. We don't like null things. Don't give me a null thing. Then we will do balances dot add balance like that, which means then back in our tests, hopefully we should be able to say something like, let's see, oh, whoops, this should not be, should be that, and then this should be include. Why are you angry? Oh, because that's the user. Whoops. So we do want then include, but why are you complaining? It does not contain a definite. Oh, so how do I do multiple then includes? On Kargashi, how much experience as a developer you got? Probably about 5 years of working. Well, I don't. So full disclosure, I don't work as a developer. I work as a quality engineer. So I do manual and automated testing for a web application for a software company. But I've been building projects like on my own, doing this whole like software building thing. I don't know what you want to call it. So whether that makes me a developer or not to you, that's completely up to you to decide. But about 5 years. So I started learning to code very seriously in 2021. And I was learning a little bit on and off over the course of like 2015 to 2021, you know. But yeah, that's about how long. So how do I do multiple includes? King Nadish, is this fun? Yeah, it's a blast, man. I look forward to waking up every morning and hitting the desk and just kind of puzzling through whatever the thing is I want to build. It's a ton of fun. Let's see. Well, hello, Cyberlanka. I will accept the title of Lord of Coffee. I will accept this title. Let's see. I'm using Entity Framework. How do I use multiple dot includes to eager load multiple collections of related entities? Okay, that's what I thought I could do, but that doesn't seem to be working. Whoops. I have a AI phobia. I don't know if I would call mine phobia as so much. Oh, shit. That's how you do it. Right? No? Okay. Alright. Sorry. I misspoke. I misspoke. I want to eager load a collection of accounts related to the user, and I want to include in that accounts their related balances. What would that look like? Let's see, at work, I'm cleaning up AI slop nonstop. I think we need better policies around these coding agents. Yeah, the AI slop's a real problem, but that's inevitably what's going to happen because AI gives you a false sense of your abilities and it makes everything feel like it's super easy to do. It also, I think, a lot of times when you use AI to author code, it kind of allows you to say, well, that's not my responsibility. Like it separates you from true ownership of the thing you're building. So you're like, I don't know, the AI did that, right? Lurk away, Artwork Studios. Glad to have you here, man. Yeah, I don't avoid AI. Like I'm not scared of um I'm not scared of AI. I'm scared of what AI might do to my abilities. So what? Maybe I need to do dot include on this? No? Okay. I'm just gonna paste it what I already have. So here is the existing query. I am already eager loading account with their associated metadata object, but I also need the balances for each account. AI is great for this kind of stuff, though, like figuring out how to work with some library or piece of technology that you never used before. You do kind of always have to go and validate its output, but it sure does make life a lot easier. Don't have to search through as many docs. Let's see. Let's see. But the okay. Now I see how to do this. So you're saying you then do dot include you dot accounts dot then include a dot balances, and then it said do this as split query. I don't know what the split query is about. Let's see. Can you? It has been some time since I've worked with Entity Framework. The as split query is new to me. Can you help explain what it does? Please use examples. I'm a visual learner. On car, gosh. Hey, how do you manage job plus your project? Isn't it kind of hectic every day? No, it's not too hectic. I just segment. I just kind of what do they call that? Time box things. So like, I wake up in the morning. I know from 4:15 to roughly 7 o'clock, I have a couple hours to make progress on my project, and then at 7, I kind of turn that off and I do dad stuff and family stuff and husband stuff. And then at about 8 o'clock in the morning, I do work. This is on a weekday, and then I do work till about 5, and then from about 5 to 8, I just make myself utterly available to my family and my kids. And then from 8 to whenever we go to bed, I just kind of hang out with my wife, and sometimes I'll work a little bit on side projects in the evenings. And I don't put too much pressure on myself as long as I'm taking care of the most important things, right? You just have to prioritize. There's only so much time in the day, so you just kind of go down the list of like, okay, I got up early, worked on my side project, great, took care of the kids and the wife, took care of the stuff, the responsibilities at the job because that gives me a salary that pays for our life, and then whatever comes after that, right? Whatever else you can fit into that time. So it's not chaotic. It's just a balancing act, and you do the best you can, and you can't judge yourself too harshly. Jacob, is it not boring sitting in front of the PC every day? Not really. I mean, the fact of the matter is that this is something I really enjoy. So I very much wake up, enjoy doing this. I very much enjoy working out. I do that every day. Go for a walk every day. I feel extremely lucky to be able to work at a job that I actually enjoy with people that I enjoy. I used to have a job that I absolutely loved the team that I worked on, but I didn't care for the work too much. So I know what it's like to spend many years waking up and going to a job that you don't really enjoy. So the fact that I get to wake up during the work week and go to a job that I actually do enjoy is just a huge, huge blessing. And I know how absolutely spoiled I am. So it's really, I don't take it for granted ever. I get to work from home, get to do a really pretty easy job. I mean, it has its days, but for the most part, it's challenging and enjoyable. So no, it's not boring to me. David, my official job title is senior quality and reliability engineer. Um, but like if I was just like explaining it to my uh, like whenever my family asks what I do, I just basically say like I make sure things work well. That's that's what I do. And if you guys are ever curious about my professional history, you can go to my LinkedIn. I'm pretty open book about that kind of stuff. I'm just a normal 32-year-old dad of two, trying to navigate career and try to figure out how to make it to retirement. So I'm always happy to be open about that. I think it's fun because you work out all day on the computer, you can become miserable otherwise. Oh, I guess, yeah. I mean, I hope no one thinks that I just sit here in my basement for 14 hours a day because I don't do that. I am in front of a computer quite a bit during the work week, but yeah, I mean, I get outside, I work out, I play with my kids, hang out with my wife, do normal people stuff, I guess. Jacob, I had a programming phase two for some work, but nowadays I don't know if I should continue with programming because I don't want to be sitting in front of the PC every day. That's a completely valid choice. Um, if you don't enjoy it, don't. Life's too short to force yourself to do shit. To force yourself to do a bunch of stuff you don't enjoy. I mean, we all do things that we have to do. That's just life. But like, if you have a choice with what you spend your time doing, and so if you don't enjoy working on a computer for 8 hours a day, yeah, go find a different career for sure. I mean, I've said multiple times that if the software engineering profession just becomes sitting in front of a computer and talking to an LLM all day, you can count me out. That's not doesn't sound fun to me. But you're right, coworkers are super important. I mean, I've had some really shitty jobs, with like really shitty managers, but had really good teammates, or maybe even like a really good manager and really good teammates. And having a team that you really, really enjoy working with can make a shitty job tolerable, but having a great job with a really shitty team can make a job impossible. The people can really make or break the work in a lot of cases. I had all sorts of problems when I didn't do anything besides coding, from back pain to headache. Jim fixed everything. Well, you got it. Yeah, I mean, long before I had anything to do with computers, before I was involved in anything related to computers, I was deep, 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 deep down the exercise and fitness rabbit hole. So yeah, you got to take care of your health. If you're not moving your body every day, you're fundamentally not being a human. Like movement is just so fundamental to what we as a species have evolved to be and do, that if you're not moving your body every day, you're in for a world of hurt down the line. Let's see, I enjoyed it, but I don't know if there are better options. I'm 19, so I'm ahead of all career paths. I have a shit job right now, but my coworkers are so cool, it's worth it. I've lived that life, Jacob. I've lived that life. At 19, man, the world's your oyster. First of all, there's a ton of other options out there, versus just programming all day. So, and the fact is, you're young, so you can pretty much go and try them all. Especially if you don't have kids or you're not married. If you don't have anybody who's depending on you or counting on you, the world is your oyster, my friend. Let's see. I have shit. Let's see. Is group join link good on this case? I don't know, actually. We could. I don't know what that method is. I've never used that method before. Steven should launch a startup that combines fitness and tech. That way lies madness, man. It's just a big race to the bottom in that world. See, why are you learning .NET Core? Is it related to your job? Just curious. I'm not necessarily learning .NET Core. I'm very proficient in .NET Core. I used .NET Core at work, and I would say C# and .NET in general are kind of my strongest language, strongest platform. And then next after that would be TypeScript. And then next after that would be some toss-up between Python and Go. And then I guess Rust after that. But the reason I like .NET is just I think it's great. I think it's a great platform. I love C#. I think it's a great language. Yeah, it's good shit. Paul, hi Steven. Since you brought up your work experience, how do you define a good manager and peers based on your previous work experience? So a good manager is somebody who does two things. One, they protect you, right? They protect you from all the bullshit of the politics of the organization, the pettiness that goes on up at the higher levels of a company, all the ego that happens at those higher levels, and they just let you focus on your work, right? They protect you, they clear out roadblocks, they make it possible for you to show up at work and do what you do best. And then the second thing a good manager does is they are not afraid to roll up their sleeves and get down on the bench or get down in the code or be right next to you working to accomplish the mission, right? A great leader is, you've seen those images of like, a manager is somebody who like stands behind people and then tells them to charge, and like a leader is somebody who's at the front of the line leading the charge. And so to me, that's how I kind of look at when I'm evaluating whether or not I would like to work for somebody, is like, I want somebody who's not afraid to roll up their sleeves and get to work alongside their team. And I want somebody who's going to defend me and protect me and go to battle for me and vouch for me. And then as far as peers, I would say what I want for my peers is I want a group of people who are like operators at their craft, like people who are very competent at what they do. They don't drag other people down. They don't wait for other people to do things for them.
Did we just become best friends?
Thank you very much for the follow, man. I appreciate that. So yeah, I guess that's what I would look for in peers. Like, I just want other people that are extremely competent and capable, can handle their own shit, easy to get along with. They aren't like assholes or douchebags. They're just normal people, but they're good at what they do. Yeah, that's what I would look for. I also think the best leaders, I don't know how many of you have ever read this book. I think the best leaders live out something called servant leadership. There's a couple books on this idea, but yeah, that's how I would describe being a good leader, is being a servant leader. you should prioritize the growth and well-being of other people, right? I think too many people look at leadership and management, and they look at it as a way to elevate themselves, versus actually what it means to be a leader is now your job is to elevate everybody else, right? And unfortunately, I think a lot of people end up being managers and leaders who probably shouldn't be managers and leaders because they're in it for the wrong reasons. But that's corporate life. That just that problem's never going to go away. So that's why the onus kind of has to go on you as the individual contributor to really make sure that whenever you're thinking about taking a job or making a switch from maybe one team to another team, you want to be very clear about who you're going to report to, and then you want to be you want to scrutinize that person very heavily because they're going to have a large impact on your experience in that role and your success in that role. Okay, by default, EF Core uses single query mode. This means generates one massive SQL statement with multiple left join commands to get all your data at once. When you include multiple collections like accounts, metadata, and balances, the database creates a Cartesian product. Well, I don't want a Cartesian product. Imagine a user with 10 accounts. Each account has 10 balances. This is not really a performance consideration here because we're talking about this in the context of a unit test. So there's only going to be like a single entry in each table, but I've never used this method before, so I just kind of want to understand. Since a combined set where the user data is repeated for every single balance, if you add metadata to the mix, the data starts to duplicate exponentially. Yes, that makes sense. When you add split query, EF Core changes its strategy. Instead of one giant bloated table, it sends multiple smaller SQL queries to the database. One for the main entity and one for each of the included collections, and then it stitches them together in your application's memory using the foreign keys. Okay, so there's your left joins. There's your Cartesian product. And then the split query just says, give me the users, give me the accounts, give me the account IDs. No, give me the balances. So we're getting the balances, we're getting the accounts, okay. Okay. All right. Interesting. Oh, did somebody mention group join? What's that about? Let's see. Someone in my chat mentioned using a link method called group join. Is that useful here or something different? Explain yourself. Let's see. Give something to other people without a reason. They will give it back to you in other forms. I think you're saying that's a positive thing, right, Jacob? You're saying like serve others and they'll turn around and in turn repay you for that. While there's a valid link method, it serves a different purpose. Group join is the manual labor version. What is group join? Group join is the link equivalent of left outer join combined with a group by. It correlates two sequences based on matching keys and groups the results. Nope, that's not what I want. No navigation property, but I have navigation. I don't need to do a custom projection. Okay. So we made the right choice here. So we're going to do a split query. We're going to get the accounts with their metadata and the accounts with their balances. Now this guy should have a balances field. Or whoops. Accounts dot first dot balances. Should have account of 1. Now this is going to fail the first time we do this. It doesn't exist. So So we'll say .NET test. Let's see, can you not just solve that with CTES? Prevent multiple round trips. What's CTES? I don't know what that abbreviation stands for. Direct me. Let's see, an error was generated for warning the model for context app DB context. Oh, yes. This is because I added. Let's see, let's go to DB context. And let's add this new relationship and a new model too. So we'll scroll down here and we'll say model builder dot entity. Give a balance. CTEs, common table expressions. I'm not familiar. Common table expressions. We'll ask Gemini to explain it. Someone is saying this problem can be solved with common table expressions. I've got no idea what they are talking about. Please help me. Nutty, I'm thinking SQL, so my link doesn't have an equivalent. Oh, there you go. Well, I'm just trying to stick with I'm just kind of trying to do everything through the ORM. ACT is generally not the right tool for two main reasons. EF-Core does not have a native link method for CTEs. To use one, you would have to write raw SQL using from SQL raw. I'm good. Let's see, your current problem is about eager loading. CTEs are best for recursive data or complex math that needs to happen in stages. I don't know if any of that's true because I've never used those before. But I think what we did for the test will be just fine. Good morning, Abu. Good to see you. Let's see, we're gonna do EB model builder. Why are you complaining? Oh, that's not a model builder, is it? Something else. It's an entity type builder. Okay, so we want to say eb.property balance has a available and a current. Oh, it also has a eb property dot account ID. Okay, and then we'll go up to the accounts. And we're gonna say eb.hasMany. This with one static b dot account ID dot has foreign key on delete. We should cascade that deletion. Okay, so we have accounts, they have multiple balances. The the balances are tied back to the account using the account ID. We mapped our properties down here. We got to do a .NET EF migration add balances with connection to accounts. It's evening here. Tell me about the project. The project is going decently well. I basically have enough endpoints right now to support people connecting to institutions and then adding accounts. And what we're doing right now is whenever we add an account, we want to initialize an initial balance for that account based on the data that Plaid gives us back. So it's going well. We've got integration tests, we got unit tests. We haven't got to the front end yet, but that's going to be the next step, I think, once I get the balance piece of this worked out. We should also update the database. But yeah, it's going fairly well. I'm probably not going fast enough for some people. I should just ask Claude Code to sit down and do all this work, but I'm enjoying myself. We're going to do .NET test. That's what we need to do now. So my test should fail because we don't have any balance data, which it did. You can see balances to contain one item, but found 0. So now back up in our endpoint, we have to add some stuff. So now we have to talk to the Plaid service at this point, basically. Or do we? I'm trying to minimize the number of times I have to talk to the Plaid API. And so I'm wondering if I already am getting the accounts in one endpoint. Here's what I'm thinking. This endpoint right here gets me a list of available accounts for an institution. Let's see, response. I'm thinking I can actually bypass making another API request. Let's run the application real quick. I'm thinking I can actually bypass making a request to the API and just use the data that I retrieved whenever I present a list of accounts. Oh, we got to refresh our access token. Let's see, we should probably do this. Let's say, give me. Okay, and then I'll go get the. Here we go. So I'm thinking what I can do here is all this data right here is coming from Plaid anyways. So I think what I'll do is I'll extend this DTO model that I'm returning to the front end to include that balance data. Yeah, I think that's what I'm going to do. And then that way I don't have to worry about making another request. The data will be a little like stale, like because like there could be a little bit of lag between like getting the list of accounts to add and actually picking to add the account, but I'm okay with that. If it saves me a request, I'm okay with that. None of this data is going to be near real time anyways. So what does that mean I need to do? What that means is we can extend this request model to say we have a public decimal, which is going to be the oh no, yeah, we're going to have a public decimal, which is going to have the account balance, or maybe account current balance, like that. And then we're going to have a public account available balance. We don't need to, those all default to 0, I think. Writing code on your own feels different? Yeah, it feels different. You're wasting more time. Fair enough, Jules. That's fine. Let's see, Nutty. How do you find Gemini? Out of all the bots, it seems to be the best general purpose one for me. Yeah, and that's why I kind of keep it around, honestly, Nutty. I'm actually kind of considering canceling my Copilot subscription because I found out the other day that Gemini actually lets you bring in repo. Like the thing I was kind of keeping Copilot around for was to interrogate repos on GitHub. But now I found out that apparently in Gemini you can actually bring in code from GitHub. So I think I might get rid of my Copilot subscription and just keep my Gemini one. But yeah, I agree. Gemini seems to be the best value, bang for your buck in terms of what you pay for. Because I think I pay like $10 extra a month to have some amount of AI usage, and it serves all the things, right? It does image generation, you can do video generation. So I might, yeah, I guess I find it useful. I find it valuable. I don't really go into the whole like. There's so much Discord online about like this model's better than this model and that model's better, and I don't really. I'm like, y'all just. You guys are just talking to talk. Can you really become good at Rust at this age compared to others who have been programming since they were little? No offense, I'm looking at myself. I feel like I can't always keep up anyway, so I use Quinn. I guess I'm not really worried about necessarily keeping up with other people. I'm just worried about getting better than how good I was a day ago or a week ago or a year ago. I'm just competing against myself. Other people inspire me a whole lot. Like when I look at other developers, I think, man, that's really inspiring. Like those guys are so competent and so capable. I want to be like them, but I don't compare myself. Jules, what do you mean bring in code from GitHub? Oh, so what I mean is on the Copilot website, on the web interface, you can basically stick the repo that you want to talk about in the context. So like if I'm using this library going plaid, which I am using it in my application, I can basically use Copilot to look at that repository and kind of be my subject matter expert on the repository that I don't really understand very well. And I find a lot of value in that. And I thought that was only something I could do here on GitHub using Copilot. But Gemini has that same functionality where you can basically tell it, you can either upload local code from your file system that you want to talk about, or you can grab a link to the GitHub repo and it'll just import it for you. And basically what it's doing is it's allowing Gemini to make API requests to the GitHub API and bring in context into your conversation so it can help formulate responses, hopefully what are better responses. So that's what I mean. I think this is a very value add way to use LLMs for this type of stuff. So you could do something like, please serve as my subject matter expert on this repo. ground all your responses in the code base. Stuff like that. I find that super helpful. It's one of the ways I use AI the most. I didn't even know Jim and I could bring in a repo. That's going to save so much time. Yeah, I didn't know either until randomly the other day I clicked on this little plus icon and noticed that import code. I think it's been there for a while and I just never noticed it. But yeah, that's one reason I was keeping my Copilot subscription around, was just so I could do that, because it was incredibly helpful when I was learning Rust and I was trying to figure out that ICE library. It was really, really useful for that. Yeah. So you can see, like, it gave me a little bit of synopsis there, but like if I wanted to say like, okay, give me an example of how I register the Plaid client in the DI container. So it's kind of like you can use LLMs almost to like generate documentation for shit you don't know about on the fly without having to have like an actual official documentation site, which is kind of nice, because sometimes what you're trying to do is very specific. It does take longer, it seems like, to generate a response, but I think that's because behind the scenes, I think they're probably calling GitHub's GraphQL API and bringing in all the context they need. Is it just your repos, or can I dump a random? You can dump a random repo. I think it just has to be a public repo on GitHub. Jules, is that the Zen web browser with side tab? No, this is Edge. I bailed on the Zen browser because they broke user space and then tried to pretend like it was a good thing. So I said, forget you guys. So yeah, I think it's pretty cool that this is a feature that Gemini has. So I don't know. We'll see how long I remain a Copilot subscriber. The one thing that is nice about Copilot is you can access different models, which is pretty nice. And then obviously you get the integration into, Visual Studio Code and stuff, but we'll see. I've been trying to limit my usage of AI just to conversational usage. I haven't been using it really to author code anymore, and that has felt better. That has felt more like what I'd like. What I'd really like is what I'm trying to build is I'd like some sort of like Socratic coding agent that doesn't really. I want an agent that pairs with me and isn't designed to help me write code, but is more designed to help me learn and become better at writing code, right? Almost like I want more like a coach, or like a very senior developer that I can pair with whenever I want. But I don't want like a agent that's like eager to do everything for me. Wow, that's powerful. Yeah, it is. I think that's really cool. I think it's a really cool feature. Hello, it's Don't Know, trying to diagnose some buffer issues on Arch. Well, that sounds hard and sounds like something I cannot help you with, but if I could help you, I would. I know nothing about Arch. I'm a Windows 11 boy. Okay, so we have current balance and account available balance. And so then the idea would be here in the add method, we can now say account dot add balance, and we can do var balance equals balance dot from. Doesn't have that method yet. So we can say private balance. And then we'll say public static from. And we'll say decimal is current. Decimal, oops, current. That. Twitch and Spotify buffers a lot, and sometimes quality drops for some reason, which I'm trying to figure out. Oh, interesting. So you think that's related to Arch or OS and not something to do with your network? Oops, available. Okay, so we'll say decimal. So we should have request dot current balance and available. Okay. I think that solves. Oh, and then we have to update all our tests. So we have to go to. Excuse me. We have to go to add tests, and now we need to just make sure that we're passing a account current and an account available balance. I guess it only matters here in this case. So let's do account current balance. Let's just set that to 100. Account available balance. We'll set that to 102. Let's see, we'll just say expected balance. Also, fun fact: this is on my school laptop. Nice. You put Arch on your school laptop, or your school put Arch on your school laptop. That's pretty crazy. If your school is putting Arch on your laptop, it worked fine on Windows on the same hardware and network, but it's only on Arch no matter the network too. Huh? Interesting. Never Whale browser is a good browser, or Samsung Internet browser. I'm happy with Edge. I think Edge is a perfectly fine browser. I really liked the Zen browser. I thought the Zen browser aesthetics were preferable, but the Zen browser people completely screwed up the. Well, I'm not going to say they completely screwed it up because in their opinion, they did exactly what they wanted to do. But in my opinion, they really screwed up the experience. But I know not everyone's going to feel that way, which is fine. They're allowed to build the product they want, you know? One day when I decide to build a browser, maybe I'll be able to. Let's see, let's do b.account ID. Equals account. This should be updated user.accounts.first. Why are you complaining? Should contain single. Invalid term expression. Operator equals cannot be applied to operands of type GUID and account. Oh, yeah, because this should be ID. And then we also want to check b dot current is equal to expected balance and b dot available. Okay. Now let's rerun our test and see if this works. Oops, I ran the wrong command. I reran the application. That's not what I meant to do. I meant to do .NET test. Let's see, Edge is great. I just wish Microsoft would stop trying to force Bing. Yeah, they should really fix that. Having to switch from Bing to Google every time you install Edge is dumb. They also hide it like several menus in. I think I've pointed this out before, but this is it's way too many clicks to change. You have to go to settings. Then you have to go to privacy, search, and services. Then you have to go to search and connected experiences. Then address bar and searches. Then you can change it. It should not require 4 clicks to change your default search engine for your browser. And that is very clearly an intentional design choice that it's buried 4 menus deep. And they really should do something different there, because it's a bad look, in my opinion. The other thing they should do is they should stop pushing Copilot in Edge so much. That's the other thing they should do. Although, have you guys used the Copilot? Let's see. Have you guys used the Microsoft Copilot website? This thing is like, it's like good. In terms of like the UI, like the aesthetics are good. And like the responses are very like what's the word? Quick, right? Like it's very fast. Although that's new right there. But I really like their user interface. I think they did a really good job with the design. Write me a explainer for quantum mechanics. I love the animation, the way it fades in. I think they did a really good job with the UI. I know nobody uses this website, or it seems like no one uses the normal Copilot. They just use the GitHub Copilot, but I think they did a really good job with the site. And I think it's built with Blazor. I think. Let's see. Microsoft Copilot website technology stack. Microsoft Copilot website Blazor. I'm not sure what they. None of this is answering my question. Maybe it knows about itself. If we do Copilot, yeah. Escape Peter Pan. Do you see yourself coding until 60? I think so. I mean, I think like I see myself lifting weights till I'm 60, or I hope one of my big goals in life is that the day that I die, I'm in the gym lifting weights. That's one of my goals. I want to age well enough that even on my last day on planet Earth, I can still get into the gym and move some stuff around. So I hope on my last day on Earth, I'm still cognitively aware enough that I can sit down and write a little code. So yeah, I would like to be able to do that. I personally just get a lot of enjoyment from the activity. Like I was listening to Hold on, let me ask Copilot real quick. Do you know what technology Microsoft used to build this website that I'm using right now, talking to you? Yeah, that is the Bing team trying to get their numbers up. For sure they are. Okay, so this says they use, while Microsoft doesn't publish the exact front-end code, their major web apps typically use TypeScript, React, Fluent, yeah. Oh, no, I think whoever built the site, though, did a good job. I like it. Why not push Copilot to Notepad? Well, well, about that, they did do that. They did do that. Oh, what was I going to say? Oh, about the coding thing. Yeah, I was watching this interview the other day with Casey Muratori. Or I think I'm saying his name right. Casey Muratori. Let me see if I can find it. I won't make you guys listen to it or anything. I just wanted to share it with y'all because I think it's a good interview. But in this interview, he kind of talks about how, like, you know, he really enjoys like programming, like the activity of programming. And so do I. I really enjoy the activity of coding. I'm not trying to avoid having to code. So AI is AI is kind of one of those things. That's why AI for me is one of those things where it's like I'm not sure it's particularly helpful for me beyond being able to help me learn and get better, because I don't really want to give AI one of my favorite activities. It's kind of like saying, it's almost the equivalent of saying, okay, well, if you could, let's say you don't want to work out, but you could send a robot into the gym and have the robot work out for you and you get the benefits, right? Or the outcome, right? So if the outcome of training is you get bigger, stronger, faster, so you don't have to have the experience, you just put your robot in the gym and the outcome gets transferred to you. I'm not interested in that because I like the activity of lifting weights, just like I like the activity of programming. So, yeah, I would hope that I'm cognitively aware to be 60 and still writing code because it's something I very much enjoy. Also, here's you should listen to this podcast. There you go. That is a great interview. It really is a good interview. Yeah, it's really good. Do you think you would be less writing code or more leaning into teaching it at that point? I don't know. I don't know if I'm really at a point where I don't ever see myself being an authority enough to teach somebody else how to code. Like, I'm always up for sharing what I know and what I've learned, but actually being a teacher or like an educator, I just don't ever see myself having that level of expertise. Yeah. Oh, Stream Elements is back. Okay, cool. Let me Stream Elements is back up. One sec. Woohoo! Cool. That just makes it so all my alerts work now. What is your highest bench press? I think the most I ever did in the history. I haven't maxed in a long time, Rev. A long time. I think the most I ever did though was like 365 for a couple reps. But that would have been, I don't know, maybe 21 years old, 22 years old. It's been a long time since I maxed. But like right now, I can go in the gym and do 315 for a couple reps, and that I just kind of try to keep my strength. I kind of have some weight or some things that I know I want to be able to continually be able to do without having to concern myself with whether or not I can do it. And that's one of those things, you know, like I can go in, I can put 3 plates on there, I can do a couple reps. I'm good. Hey, what's up? You're all the way from Shanghai. Nice. Well, how is Shanghai? Is it it's evening time there, right? over here it's 5:52 a.m. As is not bad. Well, thank you. I appreciate it. Strength is relative, right? So there's definitely somebody out there who's pressing more. I'm sure there's somebody out there who's doing less. It's all kind of relative. Cool. So now we are officially keeping track of the balance information. So let's go ahead and say a feature. Oops. Let's see. Let's actually not commit that all at once.
Did we just become best friends?
Thank you, Rune, for subscribing. Appreciate that, man. Super kind of you. It's 8 p.m. here. Nice, nice. And from the UK too. Hey, what's up, Walsey? What time is it in the UK? What do you get? You guys are like 8 hours ahead of me, 9 hours ahead of me. So what are we coding today? We are working on a this is a personal finance app. Yeah, that's what we're working on. Added balance model. Added modeling to DB context for balances for balance model with migrations. And then feature API. Initialize account with starting balance. Okay. And then so the other part of this that we need to do is, so now that we expect the front end to send us the information about the balances, we want the back end to give that to them. So whenever they ask for the available accounts to connect, we should send with them the balances. Just before midday. Nice. Well, what are you doing on this fine Saturday? Got any big plans? Just hang out, write some code? My son has a basketball game. I think my plans for today is my son has a basketball game at 8. And then I'm supposed to meet up with a friend of mine or family friend to get lunch and talk about career stuff. I think life stuff, but I think more career stuff. So that'll be fun. Or Rev, hi, quick question. Why don't you do full screen on YouTube too, like Twitch? So the whole reason I do vertical on YouTube is purely for channel growth. Like the only way my channel grows, the only way my audience or my channel has grown has been by being in the shorts feed. So if I stream vertically to YouTube, then YouTube puts my content in the shorts feed, and then the shorts feed drives algorithmic attention, because YouTube wants people making vertical form video. And so it's a good way for me to get in front of people who don't even know about my channel. And then if they want a horizontal experience, they can go over to Twitch. Originally, I was streaming horizontally. Like this has kind of been an evolution. Originally, I was streaming horizontally to YouTube and Twitch. Then I started streaming to YouTube and TikTok. And when I switched to streaming to YouTube and TikTok, I switched to a vertical format. Then I gave up on the TikTok thing because there was no engagement and interaction over there, and I just kept streaming vertically on YouTube, and that's helped my channel grow a lot. And then people wanted a horizontal format for the stream, so then I was like, okay, let's try to do both a vertical and a horizontal. And that was okay for a little while, but it seemed redundant to have a horizontal and a vertical on YouTube and a horizontal stream on Twitch. So I just took away the horizontal on YouTube, and now I tell people, okay, if you want a horizontal stream, go over to Twitch. If you're okay with the vertical experience, you can stay here on YouTube. And that's how we split the baby here, so to speak. So yeah, and I think I forgot to pin that Twitch link, didn't I? while he sat in a Weatherspoon chain of pubs in UK going over some stuff for first senior interview on Tuesday. Oh, you have your first interview, Walsey? Congratulations, dude. Just getting the interview is a big deal, man. Congratulations. That's awesome. Well, I'll be rooting for you, man. You'll have to come back. If I don't know what your schedule's like, but you need to come back sometime this week after Tuesday and let us know how it went, or join my Discord and you can let us know how it went. But I'd love to celebrate any of your success. That is absolutely awesome, man. I'll be rooting for you. You'll crush it. You'll crush it. You'll do great, man. You'll do great. Okay, so now we're going to extend this account DTO. And we're going to say public decimal count balance, or account, I'll just do current balance. And then available balance. Thanks, man. Really appreciate it. Sure, I'll pop in. It's just the behaviors interview to start with on Tuesday, then we'll see. Dude, behavior interviews, like, that's everything. I mean, I would much rather work with somebody who is a good, decent human being that I can get along with, right? Than somebody who's like an absolute wizard at code and they're a pain in the ass to work with. I know some people think differently about that trade-off, but yeah, I would much rather err on the side of somebody who performs really well during the behavior portion or the personality portion of an interview. You'll kill it. You'll kill it, though. We need current. Oh, crap. You know what? I just realized I didn't store the currency code. Why are you complaining? Cannot implicitly convert to type decimal. That's fine. We will say that's kind of annoying. Wish there was like a value.d. Yeah, there we go. That's what I want. I want this. Get value or default. Cool. We're also going to want, I just realized this, we're also going to want the currency code. So public string currency code. I'm actually going to add an extension property to that thing. I don't know why they don't have that themselves. So let's go to our infrastructure project and let's add a little extension. Let's say accounts, plaid. Let's do plaid extensions. Physical OS dot infra dot accounts public. I don't think it has to be static. Let's see. Let's use the new C# feature. C# extension members. Walsey, yeah, it's true. I used to work with a guy who was a real wizard, but wow, it was hard. It was hard work. Pair programming with him was a nightmare. I thankfully managed to avoid most of the time. Yeah, I don't want to work with people like that, Walsey. I'm with you, man. What company had the no brilliant jerks policy? I don't know. Let's look that up. But that sounds like a great policy. Netflix. There you go, Netflix. My other favorite Netflixism is BHAG, which stands for big-hearted. What is it? Big-hearted. Not BHAG. BHAG's big hairy goals. It's big-hearted champions who pick up trash. This is my other favorite. This is in the. There's a book called No Rules. No Rules Rules, that was written by Reed Hastings, one of the founders of Netflix, and he talks about how that's how they describe the type of people that they want to hire or the kind of culture they want to have. And I always love that description. Big-hearted champions that pick up trash. Okay, so I do public static class, then I declare an extension block, and I give it the type, and I declare the member. Okay. So we do public static class extensions, then we declare an extension. Oh, my eye. And then we'll do, what are we trying to extend? We're trying to extend the balances. Or I guess or we could also say we're trying to extend the account. And in this case, we are referring to this. And I'm trying to get the currency code. This, and if that is null, which it could be null, then we'll do act balances dot unofficial. And then let's just say if we don't know this thing, if we don't know this thing, then we'll do that. Can I do multiple of these things? I don't know if I can do that. Do not nest type. Alternatively, change its accessibility so that it is externally accessible. What? Does this build? Is this just an OmniSharp thing? It doesn't understand the new extension member syntax? I wonder if that warning shows up in... Why for whatever reason, it doesn't like... This is the first time I've run into this. Is this C? No, it's C sharp. It's C sharp. So it's C-like, but not C. I've never written any C before in my life. I wonder how possible it'll be for LLMs to fit into that category. Yeah, probably pretty difficult. Probably pretty difficult. Let's see, an externally visible type contains an externally visible type declaration. Nested enumerations, protected types, and builder patterns are exempt from this rule. I think I just need to disable this. Let's do what's the error code? CA1034. So pragma disable pragma disable warning C sharp. $13.04. $10.34. See, currency code must. Oh, yep. So the idea here is then I should be able to do plat account currency code like that. And then I don't have to have that logic there. Just reference it one place. I guess I could do the same thing here for let's do public decimal available. Just some little convenience methods here. So we'll say balances dot available public decimal current I'll get value or default. So now we can do current balance equals plat account dot current this available. Now, what are you complaining about here? Oh, you're complaining about the currency code, right? Let's see, non-nullable property currency code must contain a non-null value and execute. Oh, we'll just, that's fine. We'll just.
Just asking, are you going to try Linux in the future? If yes, what Linux distro are you choosing?
I probably will at some point. I basically have told chat that I will try Linux, or I will use Linux as a daily driver whenever I get a new laptop. And what I will probably start with is that DHH thing, Omachi. I forget how he pronounces it. That's probably what I'll start with, which I think is based on Arch. No there. What programming language are you using? I am using C#. That's kind of my favorite programming language. So if I have an excuse to build something and I can work with C#, particularly on the back end, then that's probably what I'll end up using 9 times out of 10. Okay, let's try this out now. So we'll say .NET run. Omachi is good, I think. Yeah, everybody's setup that I've seen using it just looks really, really nice, you know? Perfect. So now we have the current balance, the available balance, the currency code. So all of this will go to the front end. And we're going to present this like a list for the user to pick from whenever they want to add an account for a connected institution. So we'll say, hey, okay, you've added this institution. Okay, now what accounts do you want to add? They'll pick the account, and then we'll basically use all this data and send it back to our backend. But the one thing I'm realizing is that I don't think I'm persisting the currency code anywhere in my code base currently, and I probably should do that. The question is, where does it live, right? Let's see, infra. Okay, hold on. Before we do that, let's add test. Add tests. Let's see, get available. I think this will still work. Oh, yeah, that's fine. I think this will still work. Jump to the bottom. Yeah, that'll still work. So the test should all still pass, so that's good. C+++++. Yeah, C#. That you could, I guess you could call C# that. Yeah. See you, Almighty, and have a good day, man. Thanks for hanging out with us. Appreciate you. Gotta blow my nose. Hold on. That was a dad sneeze. Oh my goodness. Oh my gosh, something's tickling my nose. Oh my gosh. Yeah, bless bless me indeed. Whew. I don't know where that came from. All right, what was I gonna what was I gonna do? Oh, the currency code. I was gonna make sure that we're storing the currency code. So the currency code right now comes from the balance. So question, why would we store the currency code on the balance? The currency shouldn't really change for an account. So part of me thinks the currency code should really exist on the account. Hmm. Okay, we'll put it on the balance. That's fine. So let's do public. Hold on. Have I committed everything? No, I have not. So what did we do here? Feature infra added extension members for plaid accounts, and then feature API return balance info to front end. That. And now what we'll do is we'll say public string currency code getter emitter. We'll default you to empty. Then here we'll say, okay, we want a balance. We need current decimal available. And we need the string currency. How often do you commit? I try to commit pretty often. I'm not always super disciplined about it, but I try to organize the commits in like a logical, atomic way, you know. Like I said, I'm not perfect by any means, but I think I try when I'm developing my own projects, I try to practice like I'm going to play, right? So I try to develop on my own the same way I would develop if I was like doing it professionally with a group of people or for somebody who was paying me, just so that I can try to practice good habits. So I try to keep the commit small. I try to keep them well organized. I try to write a decently descriptive commit message. If I have like a really big diff, sometimes I'll just take the diff and stick it in my clipboard and ask Gemini to kind of generate a message with a good description for me. If I can't quite make sense of everything I've written, right? If I've fallen off the wagon and I have like 30 or 40 file changes, right? But yeah, I try to commit often, small and often. While I join the Discord. Oh, awesome! Let me approve you, man. Thank you for joining. I hope that your interview goes well. I'd love for you to come back and let us know and share any of your experience. I think there's a lot of people in my Discord who are either early in career or just getting started, and I'm sure they would love to hear about other people's experiences. Okay, so we've got currency code. Now we got to go here. Where is it? We gotta go. Excuse me. Awesome, dude. Awesome. Can't wait to hear about it. Wishing you all the best. I mean, you can still hang out here today, but like I just want you to know that. Wishing you the best. So currency code. And then in our test logic, whenever we've added an account, we need to verify that the expected or expected currency code, just say USD, account currency, yeah, that's fine, is expected. Okay, cool. Now that's going to fail. Almost guarantee that's going to fail. Actually, this won't even build, I don't think. Yeah, you never know. Yeah, never hurts to be prepared. Gotta go back to our endpoint. And yes, feel free to hang out as long as you'd like. And that needs to exist here. Where are we? Go to definition. We need to add another public string account currency code, getter, emitter. So that's a validation for that. Need to dry this up a little bit. I have this code littered multiple places in my code base. There's got to be some way to dry this up so I'm not having to repeat myself as much. That's a future Steven problem. Future Steven problem. So we have our balance now. This guy should be happy. Let's see, we should be able to run our tests. Hopefully everything still passes. Oh, whoops. No, it's not going to pass. It's not going to pass. Because we need to do .NET EF migration. We need to say add currency code to balance model. .NET EF database update. Do .NET test. Walsey, why Gemini? Out of curiosity, I'm the same. Really, I signed up for, so originally I only paid for Copilot. Oh gosh, I broke everything. Expected problem.errors to be a dictionary with 3 items because the validation error should match the expected but was additional key. Oh, yep, I need to update those tests. That is expected. So originally I only paid for Copilot. I mean, that was before Gemini existed, right? And then I signed up for Gemini just out of curiosity. I already had a Google Drive account. I was spending $2 or $10 a month there on just storage, right? And then I got some ad or some offer that was like, for an additional $10, get Gemini Pro or whatever. So I was like, okay, sure enough. And then the Gemini offering got more interesting because the models got better and they introduced like the multimodal aspect where you could do like video generation, image generation, and so there's just a lot of value there, I think, from from like a usage perspective, right? How you can leverage that particular LLM. So I've just stuck with it. At work, our provider of choice is Anthropic. So I've spent a lot of time working with the Claude models and particularly their API. So I have a lot of familiarity with Claude or the Claude family of models. But I just feel like Gemini is a better price point from a consumer perspective. Do you know what the models used in Gemini chat are capped at 32 to 64K context length? Do I know that? Is that a fact? I don't know. Or are you telling me that's a fact? I honestly don't know. I doubt I probably ever really hit that context length. Most interactions I have with an LLM only are like a single or multiple. There's very few conversations I have with an LLM that last more than a few turns. I almost always just start a new conversation with every prompt almost. We can remove this. We can go back to the ad tests. And now we need to make sure that we're passing in a currency code. They did it to reduce the price of the inference and you won't hit the LLM. We'll just forget what you were talking about before the limit. And they did it to reduce the price of inference. So I don't know if that's, I feel like some of what you're saying isn't true, but let's go and see if we can verify that. So Gemini Pro limits, let's see. The AI Pro plan, $20 a month, offers approximately 100 prompts per day on the Pro model, 300 days of the thinking model. Where are they getting that? So I'm here, I think. So I've never run up against these limits. I guess that tells you how probably little I use AI, I guess. Let's see, context window size looks like it's 1 million. So it looks like the context window thing you're talking about might be outdated information. I've never run up against this or this. Never run up against this. Yeah, I've never hit any limits on Gemini. So I'm probably not using it probably as much as maybe some other people are. Seems like other people probably could run up against that, but this is plenty enough for me. And I probably use fast more than I use pro. Just depending. But it looks like if you're on the lower plans, you have a more limited context window. But it makes sense, right? They've got to. I mean, this is the thing with AI, right? AI is going to become something only for the wealthy. like people who could spend $200 a month on Claude Code, they're in a whole different tax bracket than me. Like who can justify spending $200 a month on Claude Code? That's insane. And I think Gemini's plan is 200 and something a month, right? Let's see. Google AI Ultra. What is that? Cost. Yeah, $250 per month. Like, they're in a different tax bracket than me. If you have $250 extra a month to give to talk to an LLM, we are not the same. Which is fine. I mean, everyone's entitled to spend their money however they want to spend it, but you won't catch me doing that. I think $10 a month is reasonable. $250 a month, yeah, I'm not so certain. When called without institution ID, account ID, or account name. Oh. Or account currency. This would be account currency code. Let's see. To get the full $1 million context window, you should use it through the API. I could do that. Yep, I do. I do. That's what I use. I use the Gemini API for a lot of the projects I build. But I think using the chat interface is just fine as is. I think it's working just fine for me. So if you got the misconception that I needed your help to better use AI, I don't. The chat interface is plenty for me. Crypto, that task name getting huge. It is. These method names end up being really long. I guess I could do. Let's see. I could shorten it. I could say. I could actually turn this into. I could actually turn like this into a theory and just make it fact or data driven. But that seems like more work than I want to do right now. Let's see. Let's just say without required information. How about that? Make it a little shorter. Okay, I think that's gets us to where we need to be for adding accounts. I think now we have to go build the front end to finish this off. Let's see. Add account diagram. So we have built everything from basically here down. This is all back-end logic. There is, I think we need an endpoint for this part of the flow for generating a link token. Let's see, how's that work? Token versus developer hours. Yeah, I guess. I don't know. I don't really concern myself with that stuff too much. Yeah, I just write the code in the best way that maximizes my enjoyment from it. You end up with essentially what you had before at a higher price point. Yeah, I guess. I don't know. I just don't think $250 a month is. I don't know how people are. I mean, it's one thing if your employer is paying $250 a month, But if you're going into your own pocket and paying $250 a month to use an LLM, like me and you are just like, you are fundamentally earning more money than I am. Excalidraw just got MCP server to work with Claude Code CLI. Nice, very cool. I love Excalidraw. I love Excalidraw. It's very fun. Great tool. Great tool. Let's see. Hey, Stephen Lee. I've already been claimed. Sorry, Gunhighs. I've already been claimed. Creating a link token. Okay, the link token create endpoint creates a link token which is required as a parameter when initializing link. Once link has been initialized, it returns a public token. For most Plaid products, the public token is saved in exchange for an access token. A link token generated by link token create is also used to initialize other link flows, such as the update mode. Okay. So we need our client ID. We have our secret already. The name of your application, as it should be displayed in link. Maximum length of 30 characters. If a value other than 30 characters is provided, link will display this application instead. The language that link should be displayed in. Okay. Country code. Specify an array of Plaid supported country codes using ISO 3100 for a complete mapping of supported products by country. Possible values. I guess I just want to support the US user. An object specifying information about the end user who will be linking their account if user ID isn't included. Required for integrations that began using Plaid Protect, multi-item link, or Plaid Check Consumer Report. List of products that the linked item must support. Required if supported products. The destination URL to which any webhook should be sent. Note that webhooks for payment initiation are configured via the dashboard instead. In update mode, this field will not have an effect. To update the webhook receiver endpoint for an existing item, use item webhook update. Okay. Okay, by default, Link will provide limited account filtering. It will only display institutions that are compatible with all products supplied in the product's parameter. If auth is specified in the product's array, will also filter out accounts other than checking, savings, and cash management accounts on the account select pane. You can further limit the accounts shown in Link by using account filters to specify the account subtypes to be shown in Link. Interesting. Okay, so I guess I do have more work to do on the back end before we go to the front end. So I need to implement a create token endpoint. So let's merge this in real quick. Git status unknown wasabi. Love your lives, man. Oh, thanks, dude. I appreciate that. I don't know if they're good lives, but they are my lives. As is will be funny is Gunheis is your wife trying to test you. Yeah, I don't know if my wife's up yet. We do have to. I have a hard stop at 7 because my son's basketball game is at 8, so I will have to stop the stream like normal. Usually on the weekends I'll go a little bit later, but we have an earlier basketball game today. But I don't even know if she's up yet. Usually she'll come. Usually if she's up, she'll usually stop by the live stream for a little bit, but she may not be awake yet. But that's very nice of you to say, Unknown Wasabi. I was gonna say I don't know if my lives are any good, but they are mine. So thank you very much for letting me know you enjoy them. I enjoy them too. I actually learned quite a bit. There's a lot of people in chat that are very generous with their knowledge and their education, and I end up learning quite a bit from being here. So it serves two purposes. One, it gives me a selfish reason to get up in the morning and work on my projects, and then two, I get the added benefit of like a bunch of smart folks kind of leveling me up, which is nice. All right, let's see. We're gonna say, let's see, feature, core, extend balance, model to store currency code. Hey, what's up, Pablo? Today I'll catch some more stream. Dude, you're here and I'm here. I've got about 15 more minutes left. My son has a basketball game at 8, so I'll have to get off stream like right away and go get showered up and stuff and change. But this is nice that you're here. I'm glad to see you, man. Hope you're doing well. How's the job going? I think last time we really I know. Normally on Saturdays I can go a little bit later, but not today. But how's the job going? I think last time we talked you had just started, or you've been in it. Now you've been in it for a few months, or not a few months, but a few weeks, right? So curious how that's going. Still liking it? Oops. Oh, it's been 2 months? Oh, wow. We recently finished getting acquired? What? You you got hired and then 2 months later that you get acquired? See you, Wally. Good luck on your interview, man. If I don't see you before then, good luck on your interview. Good to see you. It's been 2 months. That's crazy. Where does the time go, dude? I guess it technically is. We're halfway through February now. Where does the time go? Oh, it was already in motion. I see. Well, exciting times, I guess. Ow. Spit my tongue accidentally. Have you had much time to work on any side projects? Okay, I think I can actually get branch delete. A little bit, but it's rough. Yeah, I feel you. It's hard to find time for all that stuff. Got to get used to many things. Lots of stressful paperwork. Ooh, paperwork's the worst. No paperwork. We don't like paperwork. Let's see, get push copilot delete remote branch using Git. Well, that's good. As long as the company who bought you guys hopefully doesn't have any plans to to reduce. I mean, that's always the risky thing with an acquisition, right? There's always this risk of like, are they going to try to get rid of us? You know? Let's see. I just deleted. What branch should I just delete? Support adding account. So I want to delete that on the remote. So I want to say git push GitHub delete. Cool. Okay. Let's see. Repo, view, web. Make sure we clean that up. Yeah, that's the honestly the worst part about when I was a food scientist, I got hired on right after an acquisition had happened. And the whole time I was there, it was a big company. Like it was a big company that bought a relatively big company, a big international company that built a relatively big domestic company. And so the whole time I was there, like we had to go through like email address changes, and then we went through a logo change, we went through a CEO change. Yeah, it's a process. But I'll be thinking positive thoughts for you for sure. Yes, we are all cleaned up. So what we need to do now is we need to do git checkout b feature add create link token endpoint. Actually, I hate that branch name. Branch delete git checkout name git branch delete. Oh, I'm sure I want to delete it. I'm very sure. Git checkout add create link token. Good morning, Ryan. I saw you on my For You. Love your vibe. Oh, that's awesome. Well, hello, Lauren. Good to see you. Lorenz, I guess I should say. Lorenz, good to see you. I'm glad you're enjoying the vibes. The vibes over here are low key. They're supposed to be kind of low key, chill, sometimes cozy. AI friendly, but not necessarily AI pilled. We're somewhere in the middle. We like using AI. We don't want AI to do all the things for us. Okay, so my backend is going to do the link token creation. So we need to do, let's see. How do we want to do this? What happened to my Neo tree? Just gonna restart Neo then. It's behaving poorly. Cozy community most often than not. Yes. I like to think it's a community full of pretty. It gets weird sometimes. Yeah, we we get a little existential at times. I find. Random nice viewership count in your terminal. Oh, you like that? Yeah, we added that. I don't know, a while ago. It's not real time, so it only updates whenever we draw the path. Whenever we run a command, and it does slow the terminal, the path rendering down, which is kind of unfortunate. But it is cached for 30 seconds. But it's a kind of a cool little feature that we added to the terminal. Although NeoVim seems locked up for some reason. I just spent the last week fixing 87,000 linting errors in the auto Lisp language extension I'm contributing to, but it's finally done. Well, way to go, man. I'm not sure I would have the discipline to do that. Now to refactor to pass 25 failing tests. That's awesome, dude. Well, that's very cool that you're contributing to it. Pablo, is it fast if you're not streaming? When I'm not streaming, I just turn it off, Pablo. Yeah, I only turn it on while I'm streaming. There's a command you can run in, like, see, it's like, it's slow. But I just do this and toggle it off, and then I don't have to worry about it when I'm not streaming, and then I can toggle it back on whenever I'm streaming. The reason it's slow, and I think there's a way to make it better, but the reason it's slow is because the way Oh My Posh uses that particular path segment is it actually spawns a separate process, runs your script. So it spawns the process, runs the script or whatever code that you've written or asked it to execute, then captures that output and puts it into your path segment in your current PowerShell session. So it's just a very slow, cumbersome process. They actually say in their docs, they have like a big block that's like, if you're gonna use this, just be aware. It's slow. And so I'm like, okay, respect. I appreciate you calling that out. Good morning, Hugo. Is it Steve or Steva Hugo? It could be Steve or Steven. It's, you know, whatever you guys prefer. Most people in my life just call me Steven. The only people that ever really called me Steve was my friends in high school and my brother. Those are the only real people that call me Steve. Almost everybody else just calls me Steven. Sad. They should make it faster. Yeah, they should, right? You guys should work on this. You know that really cool thing you already built for me that I get tons of value out of? Yeah, well, this one little thing that you guys do, you need to make it better. I think the buffering might be gone and stable now, but I'll restart the laptop and try to watch when it's cooled down. Very cool, man. Well, I'm glad you figured out your buffering issues. That would be frustrating. I would be frustrated by that. Okay, so let's add. So this is a connect. This is available. I think that we should have a link test. Test.cs. So we'll say namespace physical ls dot come on, LSP. Work for free, as many as possible. That's right. You do work for me for free, exactly how I want it, when I want it. That's what a lot of open source issues sound like. Is like people demanding shit. For like, I don't know where they get that sense of entitlement from, but it's kind of wild. David O'Reilly, super important question. How many coffees a day? So I lately haven't been drinking a ton of brewed coffee. I've been drinking mostly espresso. And so maybe 6 shots in a day. So usually I pull a double. When I do get a shot of espresso, I pull a double. And I might have 2 or 3 of those in a day. So I do like, I don't know, this much water, and then I do a double shot of espresso, and I might do 3 of those. So 3 long blacks in a day. Uncle Pee Wee, 4 minutes to work. But fortunately, Uncle Pee Wee, there's no work today. It's just a basketball game. So fun stuff, no work. Have you ever used Linux? I have used Linux, but I don't use it as a daily driver. I just use it to host stuff. So I think now I have 3 VPSs, but I just use it for hosting, really. I don't use it as a daily driver. One day, maybe. Chat's been pushing me to, and I've told Chat that I would do Linux as a daily driver one day whenever I get a new machine. The next machine I get, laptop or desktop, I'll set it up as a Linux machine. But that's the current agreement with Chat, is we'll start the Linux Arc whenever we buy the next machine. Uncle Pee-wee, I tried. You're not going to panic me today, Uncle Pee-wee. Let's see, have you heard about Rage posting on their site for getting their contributions denied for being AI? AI discrimination cancellation is something I didn't have in my bingo card. So I saw this. Yes, I saw a TikTok video of this yesterday. So there was like a Claude bot. Let me see if I can find it. See, Claude bot pull request, blog post. Yes, this one right here. I don't know if this is let's see, Rage posting on their site for getting, yes, this is it. Yeah, this is what you were talking about. I guess someone took it down, but apparently what happened, which it sounds like probably you already know that, but for those of you who don't know, apparently there was some Claude bot or Open Claw bot that opened a PR against a repo for an issue that was a first timers only issue, and so the maintainer closed it. And then the OpenClaw bot posted a blog post on its website bashing the developer for that decision, or highly criticizing the developer for that decision to close the PR. The world is getting weird. The world is getting weird. Yeah. I don't know what to do about it, man. I think I'm just gonna kind of pretend like I don't know what AI is, and then hopefully in like 2 or 3 years, all the hype will wear out. See how the Programmer Coffee. I would love to have a company called the Programmer Coffee. Or maybe if terminal.shop would like to sponsor me, that would be pretty great. Linux Arc. Why not Linux Arch? So I do plan, whenever we do the Linux thing, I do plan to use Arch, but I plan to use it by installing Omarchy, the thing that DHH came up with, because everybody's setup that I've seen looks so nice, and I'm jealous of it. So that's probably where I'll start. I don't know if that's where I'll stay, but that's where I'll start. Let's see, private, read-only, URI, link, URI equals new. And we're going to do this under institutions. Link. Public async task, link, when called, and unauthenticated, it should return 401 with problem details. I'm using Pop! OS right now and I love it. Okay, I'll have to add that to the list of things to keep on the radar. I mean, I feel like I should try different stuff, but honestly, I'm at this point where, like, I also want to avoid spending too much time configuring stuff.
Uncle Pee-wee is telling you to drink some coffee.
Oh, it's 7:02. Shit. And that was the end of my coffee. I actually use Ubuntu, have no shame in it. It's a great system and environment. So Ubuntu is the only Linux desktop environment I've ever tried. And Ubuntu is what I run on all the servers that I host stuff on. So I've never actually tried another Linux desktop environment beyond Ubuntu, but I feel like based on what I've seen of Omarchy, like it just looks like it's very aesthetically pleasing, which I enjoy. So that's what I'll probably start with. I don't know how many different things I'll try, but
Uncle
that's...
Pee-wee is reminding you to hydrate.
I'm at... Oh, yeah. You want me to drink water? That's a good idea. How long is that method name? It's long. That's how you name... I don't know, is Spooky if you're... if you really run in the .NET community, but this is kind of a convention for naming test cases. So you put the thing you're testing, and then you put the kind of the conditions that you're testing, and then the thing that you expect it to do. So you end up with kind of a long method name, but this is also what you use to basically figure out which particular test case failed or which particular test case has succeeded. So having something that's long and using snake case makes it a little bit more readable. That's kind of to be expected. You definitely don't want to do something like you definitely don't want to do something like this. You definitely don't want to do something like link test 1 because that tells you absolutely nothing. If something fails in CI/CD, what the fuck failed? Nothing like that.
Kelsey says, Happy Valentine's Day.
Same to you, honey. I'm getting ready to come upstairs because we got to get ready. Pablo, I escaped the box. Is speaking. Are there nested descriptors? I think there are packages or other libraries that you can bring in that help with test case naming, but I just use the method name. I think it's simple. Let me look that up real quick. Let's see, XUnit test case naming. You can also use just like plain old strings if you're doing something like instead of being a fact. Let's see. You can do a theory, which is data driven, and then your test cases could have their individual descriptors on them as well. At some point, I liked coding more than gaming, and then I thought, why don't switch to Linux? And since then, I don't want to go back to Windows. I feel you. I understand where you're at there. I personally enjoy coding and gaming kind of equally. I kind of think they're equally enjoyable pastimes. Haven't used .NET before, but I'm a bit surprised that's the normal approach. Yeah, it's the very common approach. Yeah, if you're coming from something like the JavaScript ecosystem where you typically do something like test.describe blah 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 blah, and then you can also do like, okay, let's now have another thing that's like test dot blah 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 blah, right? Or I think you can do like right, and you can just nest kind of infinitely inside those callbacks. It's a little bit of a different thing. I mean, if you really don't like the method, like if you really do want to do, if you really do want to take this approach, you can do this, and then you could do this.
Kelsey says you need to shower.
Yeah, I know. I'm gonna come upstairs. One sec. You can do something like this, where it's like, I think it's like, some really long name here. You can also do that, but then it's kind of like, okay, so I got to add an additional attribute. Why don't I just name the method what the test does? Do you have a rule of thumb for test coverage? So my rule of thumb is kind of like what that Learn Go with Tests author said, Chris James, is I basically write tests until it's boring. But yeah, I personally, I know a lot of people have opinions about like, well, test coverage is a bad metric or whatever. I typically will aim for like 100%. If I can get 100% test coverage, I will. To me, I think it's hubris to think as a programmer or developer, like to have so much confidence that, oh, well, I don't need to test that particular piece of logic or that particular line of code. I think it's kind of hubris, and I think it's oftentimes an excuse just not to do the work. So I kind of feel like, well, how do you know something does what it's supposed to do if you haven't actually executed that piece of code? So I do try to achieve a pretty high level of test coverage. I know everybody has different thoughts and feelings on that, but it makes me feel better. So I do think I do. That's why I do it that way. All right, my wife's right. I do have to go get ready. I don't want to make my son late for his basketball game. I didn't know that you could do that. Now I feel guilty. All right, guys. I will, I guess, be back tomorrow. I'll see you guys in the morning. Normal wrap up. If you're new here and you want to come back and hang out in the future, I'll just drop my schedule in the chat. We're live here from 4:15 to 7 a.m. almost every morning. So if you want to come and hang out and just chill and work on some projects, you can kind of think of it like as a virtual coffee shop. All kind and generous human beings are welcome to come hang out. If you want to interact outside of stream, the best place to find us is in our Discord. I'll also put that in chat. It's just discord.stephenfreeborn.com. Super easy to remember. You're welcome to join, no pressure, but that's where you can find us when we're not live. All right, Pablo, I'll see you tomorrow. Yeah, we'll catch up. Sounds good. See you, Lawrence. Appreciate you hanging out. Bye, Pablo. Good to see you, man. Good to talk to you. Bye, random name. Bye, iSpooky. Who else is here? Bye, Uncle Pee-wee, if you're still around. Bye, guys. Bye, Blackfire. Bye. See you guys. Have a good day. Appreciate y'all.